Hi, this is Michael. I'm going to read one more article, and this is important because when you look back, you may take for granted that we are in 2013, and technology is constantly improving. And this particular technological advancement is good for our Earth, for our water, and for our great-great-great-great-grandchildren, because it helps fight global warming. But not only that, this article that I'm about to read also will help us to have less fatalities on the road. And what it is I'm getting ready to discuss is, again, an article from your Sunday, October 13th, 2013, Los Angeles Times. It's titled, Self-Driving Cars Inch Closer to Mainstream Availability. And yes, I said that right. Self-driving cars. Automakers include Nissan, GM, and Mercedes have done thousands of miles of successful tests, hoping to sell self-driving vehicles by 2020. But who would be liable in a crash? It says rolling without a driver in the Nissan Leaf, and the Nissan has a new car called the Leaf. It's spelled L-E-A-F. And this is by Jerry Hirsch. His last name is spelled H-I-R-S-C-H. The Nissan Leaf is cruising at 35 miles per hour when a pedestrian jumps into the roadway. But there's no one at the controls. Instead, radar, lasers, and cameras recognize the pedestrian. Actually, a dummy shoved into a road by an engineer. Computers ordered the car to slam the brakes and swerve, avoiding a collision. The recent demonstration, at a former military base in Irvine, underscored just how far automakers have come in developing cars that drive themselves. Car companies including Nissan, General Motors, and Mercedes have logged thousands of miles of successful tests with an eye towards selling autonomous vehicles by 2020. Nissan's tests provided a vivid display of what's already possible. The Leaf dropped an occupant at the store, then proceeded to drive itself down a parking row, stop for an SUV driven by a human, and back into a space. But the technology is just one of many challenges, convincing consumers, regulators, insurers, and lawyers that autonomous vehicles are safe, and determining who pays when they crash could wrap their future in a Gordian knot. And that is a Gordian knot, capital G-O-R-D-I-A-N, space K-N-O-T, a Gordian knot. It is uncharted waters, said James Yukovic, a Los Angeles attorney who defends the auto industry from product liability lawsuits. I don't think this is an area very many people have thought much about. Coddled by robotic chauffeurs, would people retain the driving skills to take over in emergencies? Who would be liable if an autopiloted car runs through a crowd of pedestrians? The owner of the automaker? The automaker? Would insurance premiums go up or down? Would cyber terrorists figure out how to make Fords blast through school zones at 100 miles per hour? Are human drivers really ready to give up control? Such thorny questions cast doubt on automakers' ambitious timelines, said Brian Reimer, spelled R-E-I-M-E-R, a scientist and transportation expert at MIT. Humans can deal relatively well with humans making mistakes, but we don't do as well with robots making mistakes. Reimer said, how many of us are willing to get on an airplane with no pilot, even though half the time the pilots are just sitting around watching automation? It may seem inevitable that the machines will one day pilot cars more safely than humans, but that will have to be proved beyond doubt before legislators and regulators give them free rein. The engineering will have to be fail-safe, said David Strickland, administrator of National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For now, 3 states, California, Florida, and Nevada, allow self-driving cars on the road, and only for testing. 6 states have rejected testing, and 7 others are considering regulations, according to the Center for Internet and Society at Stanford University. California has directed its Department of Motor Vehicles to craft regulations by the start of 2015, said Bernard Suriano, Deputy Director for the agency. The state is working with the NHTSA, the Highway Patrol, and the state's Departments of Insurance and Transportation to figure out the regulations. Automakers are moving in stages toward fully autonomous cars. They started more than a decade ago with features such as electronic stability control, which assists with braking to help drivers control their car. Some 2014 Mercedes-Benz and Acura models combine adaptive cruise control, which keeps a vehicle at a safe distance from cars ahead, with lane keeping, which automatically adjusts steering. Another system slams the brakes before an impending crash. The next level of development, cars that assure full control under the favorable traffic or weather conditions. These are the self-driven Nissan expects to sell by 2020, said Martin Sierhuis, spelled Sierhuis, director of the automaker's Silicon Valley Research Center. The NHTSA is working on a 4-year timetable to issue regulation for such cars. All this leads to the final frontier, vehicles that can operate completely on autopilot even without passengers, as in automated taxis or delivery vans. The challenge for automakers will be programming cars to navigate complicated and unexpected conditions, Sierhuis said. It is always the outliers, the very complex traffic situations that are hard to imagine and hard to test, that are difficult, he said. Sierhuis plans to test the autonomous Leaf at a section of the road near Sunnyvale, California, office that he calls the Monster. Human drivers cause an accident a week there, a volume road with a highway crossing and 3 intersections in quick succession. It continues on. It's a 2-page article, and let's see if I can get us into the next page. If not, you're welcome to read on your own about rolling without a driver, self-driving cars inch closer to mainstream availability in your today's Los Angeles Times, by Jerry Hirsch, Hirsch, and they're expecting to have that in formation by 2020. So as technology advances, once upon a time we did not expect to have internet in our own homes. Now we do. Have a good day. This is Michael signing out. Take care and keep up with modern technology. Bye-bye.